click with the tightest of grip. G Malone CD playing white lightning sticks while I twist another grabber and I fire that shit for real. This make me wanna get some game from OGs. You don't know me, they sleeping on me. That's the main reason I don't sleep. The times that we living in, they could get frightened.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 95 of Speak On It. We haven't done jerseys in a very long time, but Michael Kendricks and Heels and Eagle wore 95. I'm your host, Danny Ocean, as always, joined by the smoothest man on the planet, Losty Mix. How are you doing on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon?
My brother, you already know when you see this Nas fade under the beanie today,
Hey,
you know it can only be one brother, the good brother, Losty Mix. My brother, it's a blessing to be here. Be here with you. I want to give a quick shout out to the Wu, as in the Wu Tang, and also ODB. Shout out to those on the visual. I got the ODB shirt today. Just felt like, I was listening to a little bit of the Wu when I was in the gym the other day. Felt like I'd give him a quick shout out. Hopefully we might be entering the 36 chambers today in our talk, Danny. But
did you wear that shirt to work today?
Of course, had to let the people know what type of energy I'm on.
Shout
why
out
not?
to the workplaces that allow
Shout
you
out to
ODB
the 9-to-5ers, us folks that's just out here working, still coming out here talking to the people, man. It's a blessing. Every Tuesday, I look forward to it, and I just wanted to shout out, send love to everyone at the top of the show that been supporting, that been pulling up to the shows, that's been DMing, chatting with Danny and I on the side, retweeting all the stuff on Instagram, showing love on the Twitter stuff as well. So shout out to all y'all, man. The love don't go unnoticed. Y'all real. Y'all real. We appreciate the love. Shout out Jamie. Jamie is in the chat. He said, "Yeah, I'm watching the Wu-Tang show right now. I assume it's the one on Hulu." He said he had to pause to listen to the show. Jamie, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate the love. Danny, tell the people where they can. Where the podcast is brought to them by. Shout out Bam in the chat. He said, "Cut the check, then D." All right, then, Bam.
Check is in the mail.
Yeah, it's in the mail.
Check is in the mail. I will say your ODB shirt, for those on the visual journey, I wore my Kirkland sweatshirt tonight. Yes, I have a Kirkland embroidered sweatshirt that I got from Costco. It's my favorite sweatshirt. I love this sweatshirt.
Let me tell you something. I have a story on some Kirkland. Me and my lady, we got super bent off some Kirkland tequila.
Oh.
But the thing was, we was in the Airbnb, so I just grabbed like 2 wine glasses, and I was using my eye. Yeah, to those of us out here, to those of us adults out here, you ever been, when you're drinking a little bit and maybe you don't feel like getting the shot glass, so you just try to eye the shot? That was me. I was in that mug just. That's a shot.
Brother, with all due respect.
Let me let y'all know. Took me and my girl, we took about 2-3 of them, maybe 4 of them.
My brother,
we was bent. Listen, I ain't had too many grown hangovers like that in my life.
You make too much money, and I'm not pocket watching, but you make too money to be taking shots out of wine glasses, my brother.
But nah, it was the Airbnb. Nah, come on, hey yo, y'all, hey, yo, y'all hear him? Y'all hear these narratives? Hey, first off, I do not make a lot of money. I am a charitable organization. I am like
you about to drop the Cash App?
Yeah, I'm about to start dropping Cash App. Nah, Bam asking me to cut the check. Bam, you cut the check. Bam. No, that is not okay. We was in the Airbnb, and that's why we had to take, because we didn't have any shot glasses. We just had the little. Hey, man, we had the wine glasses, and hey, we learned our lesson. We was hurting for 85% of the rest of the weekend.
Oh God.
Hurt.
Yeah, thank you, Bam. You are too classy to drink tequila from a wine glass. That
So
might be
yeah,
a better way to phrase it.
for those who are joining via the audio adventure, Bam in the chat says that I am too classy to drink tequila from a wine glass. I'm not going to disagree. I also got to say what's up to my man Kyle Senra. Of course, I want to give a big shout out to my guy Kyle. You know, Kyle was DMing me on the side as the Lady Hokies cemented their spot in the Final Four. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I called the Final Four to an exact T.
Yeah,
I called it.
Yes, you did.
But y'all best believe y'all know how I'm rocking. Hokies. Hokies. Woo, 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 woo. Hey, a lot of y'all man, you know what? I ain't gonna talk about where.
No, talk. What we
Nah,
can, you
go
can
ahead.
talk to.
Let the folks know to where we brought to them by.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is brought to you by goingfor2.com. Head over to goingfor2.com for all your daily fantasy needs. Postseason for basketball is around the corner. Baseball is getting started. I will say we're going to start plugging this now. To our fans of the show and all the Going for Two Network shows, the NFL Draft, we're doing the same thing we did last year, where different hosts are going to rotate Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday, Friday night, and then Saturday from noon to 2. We're going to rotate. You and I have Friday night, 7 to 8. We're going to talk about some draft stuff. We're going to have some fun. That was one of my favorite things that we did last year was the draft coverage. So I'm glad we get to do it again. So join us for the draft. Follow the handle.
I'm gonna let everyone know now. Whoever we're also chatting with. Not only am I going to bring some draft coverage, but I'm going to bring some fantasy draft questions.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at my roster and I'm looking at the landscape of my dynasty league, and I just want some questions, and an honest forum like that may help me get some answers.
I'm just going to bring some booze, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to drink some wine, and we're going to talk about football, which sounds like a lovely way to spend a Friday evening to me.
You're not wrong there, my brother.
Thanks everyone again for pulling up in the chat. Bam said I drank and smoked this weekend. What did you smoke? Oh, you're a firefighter. Oh, okay. So was it the smoke from a fire, or were you like smoking crack? Like, please let us know.
See, but look at that's crazy how you just put that on Bam. Like, look at the extremes. Fire, or smoking crack. Yo, he ain't even. That's crazy.
Smoking meats. Pause.
Whoa, hey,
said pause. I said pause.
Yo.
I said pause.
Okay. All right.
You know what's funny? And then before we go, I'll talk.
Never mind.
Listen, man. You know what I was thinking about doing the other night, and then we'll talk about what we're going to go over. What we're talking about tonight. I'm thinking about smoking my own almonds. Like I've been eating almonds before bed to help me sleep, right? Because I heard because I wake up in the middle of the night, right? And it might be my blood sugar dipping. And when your blood sugar dips, your body releases adrenaline and you wake up. So a healthy fat like an almond is supposed to keep you like settled through the night. So when that dip, like the almonds kind of keep you even. Dog, these smoked almonds are delicious. I might do them myself. I've bought like 2 bags the past 2 weeks. They are like, I have been eating before bed. I've been snacking on them when I get home from work. So I'm going to try smoking my own almonds. I'll let you guys know how it goes. This might be my side hustle. This is how I get out of the 9 to 5. Chill out, Bam. We're not even going to say that. The people on the audio adventure not going to hear that. The people in the chat are the only people that'll see that disrespectful comment. Anyway, tonight.
Wait, nah, hold on. To the folks that are in the chat, I just want to let you know, this is not regular activity. This is interesting activity. Danny, first off, I just want to congratulate you on finding such pleasure and joy in eating almonds. I haven't really heard such an eloquent soliloquy on almonds in quite some time.
Thank you. And I hate almonds. Like I used to hate almonds, but now I can't get enough.
See, look at the power of growth and expanding and retrying the palate. And look at that. Jamie in the chat also says that almonds have antioxidants, so that'll help. So
yeah. So tonight We have a lot to talk about. We are going to start with we'll start NFL, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, some breakups that are happening. Then we're going to transition to NCAA tournament, the Final Four side, and the women's side. I'm sure you have a lot to say about the Virginia Tech Hokies and how the season is going to end up. Then we're going to go to the NBA, talk some playoff seeding. We're going to talk about. I am going to be in a lot of pain. We're going to talk about the Mavericks for a couple of minutes and everything that's happening in Dallas. We might skip that. We might be pressed for time. I don't know, man. We might not have no time to talk about Dallas. WrestleMania is this weekend. Very excited about WrestleMania this year. 6ix9ine getting his ass whooped in LA Fitness like Juicy Smollett. And then you and I, we're going to talk about some other stuff, but one thing we will get to is 2 days ago, I found a thread of 45's greatest hits. And you and I are going to talk about some of 45's hits while he was in office a couple years ago and some of the funny things that he was able to give us, the gems that he was able to give us amidst all the other things. We have a question this week. We're going to answer a question.
We do.
It's about the Commanders. And then whatever else you guys want to talk about in the chat, feel free to send it. But we're going to start the NFL. During the NFL owners meeting, the Ravens were set to speak. And right before Lamar Jackson sends out a tweet, he fires one off into the universe and said, "Yeah, I asked the Ravens to trade me earlier this month." Let's start there. What are your thoughts on the situations and how the hell are we at the point where Lamar Jackson is asking for a trade?
Well, I know a lot of people are going to start off by saying Lamar doesn't have an agent. So, he was probably doing things a little bit more directly with the Ravens front office. So obviously when you have the agent there, you probably under normal circumstances would keep you from seeing probably a lot of the low ball offers, probably a couple of those introductory offers. So obviously when you don't have an agent there, you're more likely to see you're just more likely to see how they value you, like from the upfront, versus when you have an agent there. Sometimes they can keep some of those offers maybe to themselves until they know that it's a number that you're maybe a little bit more likely to entertain a little bit. I think when Lamar got into the thick of the negotiation process with the Ravens, I think his evaluation of himself and what he was seeing, the Ravens' evaluation of him, I think over time just broke down in communication. And I think they were, obviously you hear them when they say they built, the team around him, the offense around him, but have you, when the best wide receivers you have on the roster is who?
Deshaun Jackson.
So I don't know. He's won an MVP there, but maybe he doesn't feel like Baltimore is as serious about keeping up their end of the bargain, and maybe he wants to. Maybe this is his way of letting it be known that, hey, this is where we're at. Like, y'all either give me what I want or close to what I'm looking for, or please trade me. Well, like, he doesn't have any intentions of, it doesn't sound like he has any intentions of playing again for the Ravens. That's what it sounded like in the tweet. And if that's so, that's whew, because like if you're the Ravens, I mean, you can put Tyler Huntley in there, but where are we going?
Nowhere. I like to put on my monocle because I have a theory. I'd like to say that this is collusion of the highest order. I think the league is trying to reset itself after the Bills gave Deshaun Watson that ridiculous fully guaranteed contract. Everyone knows it seems like Lamar is asking for something similar, a fully guaranteed contract. There are too many teams sticking their nose into Lamar's business that probably have no business. I know today the Colts, I think Jim Irsay said, yeah, he doesn't believe in fully guaranteed contracts. The Falcons have said they are out on Lamar Jackson, which makes no sense to me. I don't think he's asking for too much. I saw a tweet today, and it was like the difference between the amount of money that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have made. They were in the same draft class, and it's like 20 plus million. And Lamar will never get that money back because, the Bills didn't play around and they gave Josh Allen the extension while the Ravens seem to be playing around with Lamar. I keep hearing this thing about Well, the style of play, the way he plays leads to injury. Jalen Hurts is about to get paid, and Jalen runs just as much, if not as more as Lamar. I know Jalen is bigger and he squats more, and in theory, his body can take more of a beating. Pause, but still, Jalen is I caught that. I mean, we don't have that knock against Josh Allen either, because Josh Allen, again, if his name were Jaheim Allen, he'd be a running quarterback. Again, Josh Allen is bigger than Lamar, but Lamar is quicker. I think he evades tackles more. Like more people miss tackling Lamar than they do Josh or Jalen. I'm just sad that we're at a point where Lamar, I don't want to say that he's begging for his money. I think not having an agent may have something to do with it. Like, if Drew Rosenhaus is representing him, do I think he'd have a deal done by now? Probably. Like, I think you can say with confidence that Drew Rosenhaus probably got Lamar his money, or he has the connections to facilitate a trade to help Lamar get him to a team that will give him his money. But I think now the owners have, again, I don't. There's no proof of collusion, but there's a very clear message around the NFL. Like, you're not getting a fully guaranteed contract from anyone. So your best bet is probably go back to Baltimore, which is sad because Lamar deserves a little bit better than that.
So my thing with that is like if you're the Ravens and he's bringing up these points of yes, I want a similar deal as Watson. Maybe it doesn't have to be. It can be fully guaranteed for this amount, or it can be non-fully guaranteed at this amount over this amount of years. And you're telling them, I want a deal, similar in pay structure to Watson. Unfortunately, and I feel like if you're the Ravens, he's been nothing but a good teammate. He's been a good leader. You've won a lot under him. I think they've won 70 or 80% of their games. He's won an MVP. He's, I mean, comparable to speaking, his only comps are quarterbacks who've been on the steps of going to the Super Bowl or have been to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow.
That's it. Like that's the class, because he's won a playoff game.
And all of them have gotten paid respectfully by their organizations, and Lamar has had Baltimore winning in a similar situation since then. So my question is this really about the dollars?
No.
To your point, to your point, there could be a message that's being sent here. I find it funny that these teams with very, very subpar QB play are all of a sudden don't want a former league MVP. Funny how the Jets come out and say they wouldn't want to negotiate in bad terms with the Rodgers and Green Bay thing. Yet so what you're telling me, if you're the Jets, I'm just saying, if QB is your problem, you would go all in on a 30 plus year old quarterback who was flirting with retirement before he was upset or over a former league MVP. Not saying one's right or wrong, no matter which answer they end up with. But is that what you're saying? Atlanta Falcons, you're coming out and saying you're not down with them. So you're saying Desmond Ridder is the QB of the future, which is, I saw Desmond Ridder play. I think there's a lot of hope and potential there. But if that's what you're saying, okay, interesting. Now the Colts are saying, hey, we like Lamar. They're looking at their QB room like we can definitely like, we don't have an excuse at the number 2 overall pick. We can potentially work out something there. But with that, they don't have 2. The Colts have 3,
4.
4.
I believe they have 4.
4. So the Colts got 4. So, but Jim Mercer is coming out and saying, "Hey, X amount." He said, "What about you said guaranteed?" He said he doesn't believe in fully guaranteed.
Yeah,
but
Jim Mercer was. Out. Yeah, Jim Mercer said he doesn't believe in fully guaranteed contracts,
which means it's negotiable. And I also don't believe that Lamar only wants a fully guaranteed. I think that would be ideal, but I think he's open to other pay structures if you could figure out, what to pay. So, I mean, salute to Jim Irsay for at least being a little bit honest. But I think to Kyle's point in the chat, he said the Browns love that they caused complete chaos for the NFL with the Watson contract. Yes, they did. And if the Browns become a competitive franchise for like a 3 to 6 year period or 3 to 5 year period, then it's worth every dollar.
I do. Jamie made a great point in the chat that Gladys made that two of Lamar injuries came in the pocket, so not while he was running. Even more
Yep.
reason to ask, hey, what's the real reason you don't want to pay this man? I agree with
Mhm.
you. I think he would prefer fully guaranteed, but I am assuming at this point he just wants to get what's rightfully his or what he thinks he's earned, which a lot of us think he's earned. And I just it's just sad that this is how the story is ending. That he might have to sign the franchise tag. God forbid he suffers some sort of injury next year, and then he loses money that he just can't recoup. So I hope they figure this out. It's crazy. Like even the Commanders, like you have a team, but you just have Sam Howell as your quarterback. Like Lamar in DC, that could as an Eagles fan, like that's scary. That's scary
I don't know if
business.
I would. I have a lot of DC fans that have a lot of Commanders fans. I also knew a lot of Patriots fans who were like, Lamar to our team is the vision. And I'm sitting here like, ah, I don't know if I see it for either one of you guys' teams, but
Listen,
who,
if the
who
Commanders are
knows?
for sale, they've gotten two bids for 6 billion. The Commanders get a lot more valuable if you find a way to trade for Lamar Jackson. Now that the franchise is valuable anyway, but man, for a owner like for a new incoming owner, I don't have to worry about quarterback. Like all I got to do is get rid of Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy is sitting right there. Like can you imagine Eric Bieniemy and Lamar Jackson? That's scary. Like I don't know what we're waiting for here, but I hope he gets his money.
He waiting, Snyder waiting on the right offer, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
And Achille, yes, we do. I think that the Lamar Jackson situation is complete collusion. There are
Yeah.
too many owners sticking their nose in Lamar Jackson's business.
Owners with QB play that's very subpar
Mid.
comparable to the Ravens. So
So D, you mentioned the Packers and the Jets a couple of minutes ago. Out of those two teams, who's breaking up first, Lamar and the Ravens or Rodgers and the Packers?
funny as it may be, I still think it's Rodgers and the Packers. I think when you've been paying attention to some of the recent back and forth with the front office and some of the previous comments with Rodgers, it's like, okay, you guys are playing a little cat and mouse game here. You guys are a little pissy at each other. Can everyone just like let this go? Which also shows me that this breakup was very inevitable. But I also kind of don't understand because he also said, Rogers also said he was like 90% leaning retirement. So he basically felt a little disrespected by, the organization. So I'm like, hold on, wait, which was it? Were you already retiring or did you? I don't know. Either
Both.
way, I think, I think the organization could have handled things better. I think Rogers could have handled things better, but it is what it is. Like at this point, you know, I think I think if you're the Packers, you just going radio silent until it's time for the actual trade. Big that trade up, and I still think you hold out until the Jets fork over that nice, pretty first round pick of theirs. So
I'm with you. It's definitely the Rogers to the Jets that deal. The framework of the deal is in place. I think the argument now is, what if he retires after next year? How do we get incentives? Because I think it was two twos with the intention of one of the twos becoming a first, depending on certain parameters. Now that one of the parameters, what if he retires? How does that two turn into a one? So I think that's going to happen. Like a Lamar Jackson deal. Like I don't think anyone's even close to having a framework done to getting Lamar traded. So I think Aaron Rodgers is going to break up with the Packers first. I hope Lamar doesn't leave the Ravens because I think like Lamar and Baltimore, like sometimes like they're just cities that fit quarterbacks, and I think Baltimore is a city that fits Lamar, just like the way Philadelphia fits Jalen, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. Like there are certain people that just feel right in certain cities.
yeah, you funny for that Jalen one.
I mean, Jalen does feel right in Philadelphia. What other the way he's embraced it, he is Philadelphia in his heart. So yes, he does
Nah, it's
belong.
okay. I ain't saying nothing. All I'm saying is Dakota Prescott. Watch yourself.
Yeah, decoded. Anyway, let's transition out of the NFL. Talk about something fun. Final Four. We here.
Oh yeah.
We've had a lot of great basketball the past couple of weeks. We're starting on the men's side. The Final Four set. We got the Florida Atlantic Owls playing the San Diego State Aztecs, and then on the other side, it's Miami and UConn. Thoughts on the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, and are you excited for this Final Four matchup?
Well, I'm gonna start by saying my bracket, my men's bracket, had a lot of potential coming into the Sweet 16, and boy, did everyone just seem to lose between the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight that I was just so sure was not going to lose. Alabama, Texas, Kansas State. I
Houston.
was Houston. I was all like, wow, like that's okay. So I guess, hey, this is one of those Final Fours where it just is what it is, and hopefully we'll get some decent basketball being played.
You don't
I
sound
don't
too
know,
excited.
man. I think the winner of the Miami what's the other one? Miami
UConn. It's
UConn
Miami,
game. I
UConn.
think they're going to be heavily favored versus San Diego State or FAU. So do with that as you will. Um, that's all I
Two
got for
things.
them. Yeah.
Two things for me. This just is for those of you who, and I from time to time say this, that parity is good in college basketball. Well, here's your parity, right? Like this is what parity looks like. I think basketball, we talked about it last week, like the talent is more diverse across the board and across schools. Like the blue bloods still get the talent, but there's still talent that can go to other schools, and this is a reflection of that. But for those of you who like, I'm tired of seeing Kansas and Duke and UNC, yo ass better be in front of the TV Saturday watching these two games. This is what parity and this is what the NIL has done to college basketball. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I kind of enjoy it to a degree, but for the casual fan, they're not going to watch FAU versus San Diego State. They're not going to watch that. For those of us who enjoy it, sure, but this is what parity looks like. Second thing, last week I got on this show and said when UConn goes on a run, they go on a run. Y'all, UConn is in the midst of a run. They will be the national
Yeah.
champions this time next week. Like either
Yeah.
UConn is getting eliminated in the round of 64 or they're winning the national championship. Like there's no in between. Like they look absolutely dominant. UConn is UConning. They're going to be the national championship. Go ahead and put your money on it. I shouldn't say that. Don't blame me if they do lose. But when UConn goes on a run, they go on a run,
I
and
think
they
they
are in
might
the
blame
midst
me.
of a run.
No, you
Big East
called it. You called it
basketball
like
is back, baby.
you called it pretty much directly on the dot. You said, "Yo, UConn's just going to go on a run." I'm calling it like right now, and that's wild. Salute to you. You
UConn will
knew
be
that
your
shit. You
national
put that shit
champion.
on. It's not on you. It's in you. They say.
Do you know what's crazy? Since the turn of the century, UConn, if they win this, I think this is their fourth national championship. Like over a 23-year span. That is insane, especially for a program that is not as rated as the Kansas, the Dukes, the
The
UNCs.
last
You
one
would,
was like about 10 years ago,
yeah,
wasn't it?
it was a Kevin Ollie's team. Like Calhoun won two, Ollie won one. No, this might be their
Yeah, I think.
fifth this century. Like I feel like there's another one in there. Research, Kyle. How many national championships has the men's UConn team won since 2000? Like this is either going to be number 4, number 5. If it's number 5, we need to have a serious conversation about why we don't think of UConn in the same light as Kansas. Meanwhile, Kentucky ain't done just DeMarcus Cousins has left, and somehow we give Calipari all this love.
But they put Kentucky puts people in the NBA that can
Yes.
hoop and hoop fast at a high level at the next level.
So I'm
So
very interested to see how many
now
national
asking for a
championships.
little bit more respect on his name. That's all he's saying.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the women's tournament while we're here?
Yeah, so let's talk about. So for me, I don't know about you, but I feel like the women's tournament has been heads and shoulders above the men's. So the final four for the women's is set. We got South Carolina versus Iowa, and on the other side we got LSU versus Virginia Tech. I'll let you go first. I'm very excited for these games, but what do you think of? I know your Hokies are in there. I know you're about to talk your talk. So like, go. Floor is yours.
First and foremost, I want to give a major shout out to the Lady Hokies of Virginia Tech, making it all the way to the Final Four. I mean, these are two incredibly hard fought games. In the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, that Elite Eight matchup versus Ohio State, that was a tough game, and they pulled that one out. They were down 7 early, pulled back into the game, and then took it over. And I was pretty impressed. I mean, they played a very good brand of basketball. Coach Kenny Brooks and staff did an incredible job at game planning this one, and I mean, the team played well. I think Georgia Amore played extremely well. Team looks dangerous. They woke up feeling dangerous, and they look pretty dangerous. Now, I'm gonna let some of y'all punk asses know right now. I heard that shit you said about my school. I heard that shit you said. I just want you to talk now. Talk now. You was talking heavy about the Hokies. So what's a Hokie? Talk now. Yeah, what's your bum ass school doing at home? Didn't
even make it to the tournament.
Didn't even make it to the tournament. What's your school doing? Oh, your team used to be good. Now y'all fell from glory. Sorry, UConn. The fuck? We better. Fuck out of here. You heard what we said.
Let Gino know. Gino won't hear you the first time. Let Gino know.
Hey, y'all didn't want. I picked UConn to make it to the Elite Eight. Couldn't even make it out. It's okay. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. LSU, I've been watching them games. They tough. They got some size. They got some length. They got some girls that can really play. And on the other side, an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
I'm so excited for that game. Like, that might be the game of the tournament on both sides.
Listen, I think that game's going to be close, but I think I think it's going to get ugly before it gets pretty.
Yeah.
So Kyle got back to it.
Okay, yeah, let's go to Kyle and then we'll talk about. So UConn has won 3 this century. 99. Won a 4th in 1999. Calhoun has 3. Ali have won 1 in 2014. So they've won 4 since 2005. If you want to throw in 99. So if they win this, that is 6 national championships. Like, we need to have this conversation about UConn basketball. Back to the women's side of the bracket. Virginia Tech, LSU is going to be a battle of the bigs. Very excited to watch that game. But oh boy. For those of you who don't watch Iowa women's basketball, there's this young lady named Caitlin Clark. Sis is a flamethrower. Other night, only person in any like men's and women's to have a 40-point triple-double. I think she had 41, 12, and 18. The game is only 40 minutes long. She averaged a point a minute. Fam.
She gets buckets.
And then she gets like, she's shooting from the logo. Like there's a play. It wasn't against Louisville. It was the game before. She takes 2 steps across half court. Her feet are on the Hawkeyes logo, and she drills a 3. And then against Louisville, I don't know if you saw this. Apparently they were talking to her, and she looked that girl in the face and said, "You down 15 points. Shut up." And then there's another clip of her looking at sis in the face and say, "Yo, you can't guard me. Fam, this is what the streets need." Let her, a part of me hopes it's Iowa.
Spicy mayo? Is what you saying the streets need?
Yo. Hey, spicy mayo.
A little spicy mayo. Put a little spicy mayo on it, boy. Spice the whole damn sandwich up. Get that bitch to popping quick.
Yo, not spicy mayo. I will say though, at some point in time, like 70% of Iowa's offense is Caitlin Clark. Like at some point, you gotta say, "Hey man, we're gonna trap you as soon as you cross half court." Like at some point, you gotta get the ball out of her hands. At some point you send a double her way whenever she touches the rock. I'm very interested to see how
Iowa got
Dawn
some
Staley
players though.
defends. I mean, they do, but you know, you got one person scoring 41, next score got 15. Like, yo, we tried somebody. We need to throw more resources into stopping one person, and if somebody else beats me, I live with that. I'm intrigued to see how Dawn Staley attacks Caitlin. The thing about South Carolina is they can throw so many lineups at you. They can play big, they can play small, they can play fast. If they want to slow the game down and beat you up on the boards or beat you up on the post, they can do that. Dawn Staley can do whatever she wants. I'm very intrigued to see how that works. I'm not rooting against your Hokies, but I would love to see a South Carolina versus LSU rematch this time for the national championship. Dawn Staley, Ken Mulkey, let Dawn slay Mulkey too, and then she would be Gino and like all her peers that her on her level, beat them in the highest game possible for national championships. That's what I want. If Virginia Tech beats LSU, I wouldn't shed a tear. It doesn't bother me one way or the other. I just want to see South Carolina and Iowa because that to me that's going to be the game. It's either going to be the game of the tournament or South Carolina's going to beat the piss out that girl and send her to the WNBA with the black eye. So I'm very excited about that game.
Hey, yo, you good? Y'all hear my man's? No, I'm gonna be honest with you. My bracket has LSU and South Carolina in the national championship
Mhm.
when I originally made my bracket. But personally, you know what I'm saying? I think I think we're gonna go in there and we're gonna handle business. Y'all heard
Hey,
me.
I'm rooting.
Y'all heard me. We're gonna go up
I
in
mean,
there
you
and
the
we're gonna
one
handle
seed.
business.
You the
We are
one
one
seed.
seed for a reason, and we're gonna go in
Yeah.
there and we're gonna handle business. That's what I think.
Oh, Kyle,
Now,
Caitlin. Oh, Caitlin Clark can't go to the league till next year. Damn it. All right.
now he says he thinks I think she can. I think she's eligible if she wants to, but she might come back. She has the COVID year probably.
Yeah, girl, go to league. Go to
Is
league.
it her brand and image might get her more money in college though?
That is fair. Okay, never
Let's
mind.
talk about it. Let's
Stay in
talk about it.
school because you ain't gonna get no
Let's talk
money.
about it. You go to the NBA, Caitlin Clark, she might not make a couple dollars. Now what's
That's
up?
true. That's true. You're right.
Someone at Iowa, maybe one of them big rich Iowa brothers, might want her name, image, and likeness over some marketing stuff, willing to pay 250 big ones.
Yeah, get that NIL money. I am in agreement. I didn't think about that. Yes, across the board, get that NIL money. WNBA ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Now back to what I was saying. I think the Hokies, they're gonna handle business against LSU. I think South Carolina going they're gonna be South Carolina. That's cute. I think we're gonna see something next week. South
Okay.
Carolina versus Virginia Tech.
Who you go? Because by the time we speak again, I think the women's national championship game is Sunday because the Final Four is Friday. So when we meet next week, who's going to be the national champion on the women's side? Is it going to be South Carolina or Virginia Tech? You going to take it that far?
I'm gonna say the national championship matchup is Virginia Tech and South Carolina.
That's it. You're not going to give us a winner.
No.
That's fair. Let's talk. Let's stay in basketball. Let's shift over to the NBA.
NBA basketball. We
Playoffs are
all
right
got
around the
that.
corner. Oh, keep going.
No, that's my shit.
The
I heard earlier in a presentation. I said, "Yo, that's a throwback." That used to be my
the
shit.
Bow Wow version or the original version?
The original version. Although Bow Wow do got some hits. I wish people would stop disrespecting him.
Yeah, people. You
Let
know why
me hold you.
people disrespect him because he's like really really small. Like he's a small person.
I thought we in the age of no body shaming.
I'm not body shaming.
Y'all
I'm
went
saying
outside.
people are
Y'all went outside
disrespectful.
for y'all went outside for Bow Wow. Bam wasn't outside for Bow Wow. Let me hold you. Come on, that used to
Dog,
be the jam.
dog. The joint with them and Jagged Edge, like him and Jagged Edge. Yo, that joint.
Show you, you got it. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all got to put a little bit of respect on Bow Wow. Man. That's all I'm saying.
You know, we're gonna play
In
Bow
the
Wow when we
NBA,
leave tonight. That's when we're gonna
I
sign
got
off to
us.
Bow Wow. Bet.
Y'all know me.
So basketball. We what 6 to 8 games depending on the team away from the playoffs. In East Conference, Sixers, Cavs have secured their playoff spots along with the Celtics and the Bucks. Eastern Conference starting to wrap up. Meanwhile, on the western side of the bracket, the Grizzlies have won their division, the same division as the Mavericks, unfortunately. Meanwhile, seeds 4 through 11 continue to only be separated by 3.5 games. D, this question is rhetorical as hell, but what team should throw in the towel and say, see you in October?
Well, I've already seen one team go ahead and say that in the Portland Trailblazers.
Yes.
They have silently thrown the towel in. I can see the Washington Wizards potentially doing something similar, and or the Indiana Pacers. Now, of those, I definitely outside of the Trailblazers, who I know are doing it, I maybe see the Wizards. I know they're in the play-in, but I see them throwing in the towel.
Okay.
That's me, though.
That's it? You can say it.
Listen. Golden State,
Oh, wow.
Dallas.
Yes.
It's time, man. It's
The Warriors are
time.
the 7th seed right now, though.
The Warriors aren't good. They're good, but they're not good. So what are we supposed to do about them? Their worst qualities about them are that they can't win on the road, and they're not the best rebounding team, and their inability to win on outside of their arena could cost them in a playoff series. If they don't have the home field advantage, that means they got to win 4 out of 3. At least one of them's going to be on the road. Do you really trust this team based off how they play on the road versus at home?
No, I don't trust this team at all.
It might be time. I don't know, but I know they're defending champs. They got a lot of pride. Okay, fair enough. What was the other?
You said Dallas.
Dallas. That was the other one. Dallas. You made the big splash trade for Kyrie. I get it. I understand it. What the hell's going on?
It's Luka. Luka's going through some personal things right now.
Like some
With his
serious
mother.
personal things.
Yeah, it's with his mother. Like they're,
Seth.
I feel like he and his mother are having a falling out right now, from what I understand. But their pick is top 10 protected. Right now, they have the 11th worst record. Luka's about to get suspended for a game for technicals. Hey, man, Luka, that calf hurt, don't it? Kyrie, your toe hurt, don't it? Yeah. Yeah, go on, rest up. Kyrie, we'll get you ready for a sign and trade to LA. Luka, go handle your business off the court. This
Wait
is
a
a loaded
minute.
draft.
Why are we so sure that the Lakers won't stick with D'Angelo Russell?
Oh, well, yeah. Listen, Kyrie getting signed and traded. He can't walk away for nothing. Please don't
Why
resign
not?
him, Mark Cuban. Because if he wants more money, he can sign with Dallas and get traded. Dallas has his bird rights, right? Like he came to us, like we can offer more money. Sign the contract
But
with us.
are you sure that you think that Dallas would be so
Here's
hesitant to give him up?
So here's the thing. Dallas is going to sign him to an extension. It's going to be a short-term extension, probably a 1-and-1, one
Right.
guaranteed, and then a player option after the second year, or maybe probably a team option. To be honest with you, a team option after the second year. I've seen enough Luka and Kyrie. I don't need to see anything else. The team is just as bad as it was before Kyrie got there, and I'm not saying this is Kyrie's fault. Nothing that's happened in the Mavericks since Kyrie has gotten there has been Kyrie's fault. He's been a great teammate on off the floor. no foolishness, none of that. It just hasn't worked. If their games are too similar. If you want to get Lucas someone he needs, I would call Atlanta and see if Josh Collins is available. I will call Toronto, see if Siakam, OG are available. Like those are the kind of players that you need to put around Luca.
So
Big,
my question
bigs
is,
that
they
can.
had a good post guard in Jalen Brunson who
Mm-hmm.
had incredible post work, and they let him go essentially for the frizzy.
Yep.
Why?
Stupid management. That's all I got. That's all I got. And I'll say again, I told you in 2 years, this is year one of Lucas' 5 year max. In 2 years, he's gonna walk into Mark Cuban's office and he's gonna say, "Hey, dog, what we doing here? Get me out of here. I'm done. It's on
You
the way,
think
man.
so?
It's coming." Yeah, yeah. Come on,
Who do you
man.
go to when Luca leaves?
What team do I go to?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to Philadelphia. I love the Sixers.
So if Luca leaves, you're done with the team.
That would probably be the last straw for the Mark Cuban era. He fell into a ring in 2011, and since then he has done everything in his power to build the worst rosters ever. He didn't bring back the championship team. There's the DeAndre Jordan fiasco. He's bringing in like he brought in Darren Williams 5 years too late. For some reason, he can't get people to come to a team in a state with no income tax. That seems wild to me. Like Dallas is a franchise should be a premier spot for free agents. Like we talk about New
You
York,
know,
we talk about Miami, we talk about LA. Dallas should
what-
be.
my question is just I'm hearing you talk about the you can't put asses in seats, and my first thought is it's probably hard to gain any fan traction when you have the Cowboys, and that's probably the internal battle that he faces in the city of Dallas. Is yo Dallas Cowboys season ticket holders, I imagine, aren't cheap. So you got to, and then I think TCU is not far away. What product has the Mavericks put on the court consistently that makes me think that I'd want to invest
I
in
mean,
this?
they sell out consistently though. The Mavericks, American Airlines. Let's see, they sell out all the time. Let's see their sellout streak. Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks is sellout. It's the currently the longest streak in American sports.
Okay.
Like
So,
Mavericks
so why
sell
can't they
out.
bring why can't they keep and bring then other big name free agents?
I because Mark Cuban is a terrible salesman when it comes to pitching free agency. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I can't imagine. Well, now they don't have the cap space, but I can't imagine. It's very difficult to walk up to a superstar and say, "Hey, come play with Luca." How does that sound?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think if you're looking at the current landscape of the NBA, you got to know that you need help. No one can do it on their own, and you're seeing what guys like Dame and um, I mean, I think yeah, guys, teams like the Trailblazers, where it's really one bona fide guy and a lot of other really good players who are still trying to figure out their role, how that can wear down on a superstar. And you got to, I think, if you look across the league, you need a punch A and a punch B. All the
Um,
contending teams have a punch A and a punch B.
so speaking of punch A's and punch B's, the Lakers punch A has returned.
Yes, he
LeBron
has.
James is back after
Yes,
going
he
to
is.
after seeing the LeBron James of feat, all that, and he's still
Okay.
losing.
Yeah, it was funny how we had won a couple in a row, and then we ended up losing the game. He comes back, but I'm so curious to know about this LeBron James of the feet.
So funny. That
Do you
was the
think?
equivalent. Say what?
No, go ahead.
That quote was the equivalent of 45 saying when they looked, they didn't see DNA, they saw USA.
Oh man, The doctor told me they had never seen DNA like this. They looked at my DNA and said it wasn't DNA, it was USA. Literally, yeah, dude was like, I don't understand how. No, I was sitting here like, yo, this guy LeBron, he may not be from this planet. That's what I was sitting here thinking.
Yeah.
Like, he may not be from this planet. Either that or the shit they was giving him was crazy fire.
Probably a mixture of the two.
They was probably like, his recovery has to be like super fire. Kyle and Bam are having a long, detailed conversation about how many free throws per game the Lakers have taken above the rest of the league. The Lakers currently are at 26.6 free throws a game. They are one of only 5 teams above 25 and a half free throws a game. So, interesting stats if anyone is looking for it. Danny, what's next, my brother? Holla at me.
We can go in a lot of directions. We're gonna save. I know we're saving for last, so let's jump to 6ix9ine, getting his ass beat in LA Fitness.
Did you think it was
And
real at first?
at first, I did, and then I was like, "Why are 3 grown men, clearly in their 40s, beating up some guy who's 23? Like, y'all look a little too old to be beating up 6ix9ine
Maybe
because you think he's a
they rewanted the
snitch."
smoke. See, I feel the opposite. I thought it was fake at first, and now I do
Okay.
think it's real.
Okay.
See, people, I watch videos sometimes, and sometimes I get on the internet and I only watch videos. So I was scrolling and I seen
Mhm.
this video of 6ix9ine. He was getting drugged by his hair violently. Then he was on the ground. And when he was on the ground, that's when I was like, this could be real. This could be fake. I don't know where to take it. Then he started getting like kicked, stomped.
Yes.
That's when I was like, ooh, that might actually be real. And that's what, because those stomps were
They were
painful.
vicious.
Those weren't the Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle stomps. Those were the John Wick, giga sort of kick. You know that for all my martial arts movies, my old school martial arts movies, you know that kick when like they kick, but like the kick lands like in the person's chest, and then they get do the close up of the kickie's face. They'd be like, whoosh.
That's what it
You gotta
was.
make that. Yeah, that's what one of them. So
So I'm watching the video now, and those dudes, again, they look like they're 40 years old. Dog, if you 40 years old
did you see the
trying to
video
fight,
of the person who was videotaping, and then he was like, "Yo, 6ix9ine, I'm a fan though," and he was like, "Yo,
yeah, I saw that. You watch him get his
he was like,
ass
"Yo, they
beat.
just beat my ass," and he was like, "Yeah, I just recorded it though," and I was like, "Oh dear Lord, this is the society that we live in nowadays."
Yeah, like
But
this
then
dude who
again,
holding
I'm
him by
also
his hair
thinking,
has.
yeah,
Say what?
yeah, they was tagging him. Now they was tagging him. Now I ain't gonna lie, had it been me, I probably would have just walked out that bathroom. I ain't gonna hold you. I would have just walked out that bathroom. And I'd have been like, man, I wonder what he did to make them dudes that
So
damn mad.
like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. They kicking the shit out of him. They look real. I'll say this. Every man in that video hitting
He
him.
paid to get his ass beat? That's another
I
question.
mean, Juicy Smooth. Ooh, okay, yeah, that's real. They kicked him right in the
You're
face.
right. Jesse, people out here stealing your Subway sandwiches late at night. Come on, bruh.
The
Get
funniest
that
thing about
camera.
the Juicy Smoulet story is the moment Charles Barkley heard it, he was like, "Nah, that ain't happened." Like before
Yeah,
anyone else was on it, Barkley was like, "Nah, that ain't real. That
that's
did not
that's
happen."
that didn't happen. Jesse, come on, man. Writing checks to commit crimes. What are we talking about?
So
What are we,
speaking of paying people off, your boy Vincent Kennedy McMahon, 17.4
oh man.
million in investigation calls.
Oh man. Vincent K. McMahon, 17.4 million. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't do your nasty business on the clock. because it will come back to bite you. That's woo. Vince, you a nasty freak. Freaky boy. Freaky boy.
Listen, man.
Woo. Vince, you was getting your WrestleMania on. Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Speaking of WrestleMania,
Yeah. What match are you looking forward to? Or matches?
it's finally time for Cody Rhodes to acknowledge the tribal chief
Yes,
himself.
sir. Yes,
That's what's
sir.
happening this weekend. The tribal chief will be acknowledged. He will be victorious as the undisputed universal champion. And I think Cody Rhodes is going to give him one heck of a match. But at the end, I just think Roman Reigns is WWE, and you keep building him up to be this immovable force. And if you have him lose, you make it at like a SummerSlam, not a WrestleMania.
I am with you. Roman, like this storyline has a little more juice left. I think the Usos lose the titles, and then we start to break the family up. Like Roman kicks them out for being losers. He kicks Solo out for losing to Cody Rhodes, or he'll send Solo out the Monday after WrestleMania. Like, I need you to finish him, take him off the map. Solo loses. Like this bloodline storyline, it has a little more juice left in it before. I think you're right. It needs to culminate at SummerSlam. The other match that I'm looking forward to, and I never thought I would say this, I'm looking forward to Austin Theory versus John Cena. John Cena
You
has
think
been,
so?
yeah, John Cena. Theory's going to win, right? John Cena can't win the U.S. title. His schedule won't allow him to defend it. But the way Cena has been dragging that man through the mud with these promos has been hilarious. I'm just looking forward to seeing how that ends.
You wait.
Owens,
So you really don't think they would give John Cena like a month title run?
I mean, they might, but when would he
All you
lose?
gotta
The
do is
thing
when you
about
think about it. If there's a month between WrestleMania and the next one, all John Cena has to do is maybe show up to one or two WrestleManias, or not
but
WrestleManias, a few Raws.
that goes against everything John Cena has stood for his entire career, right? Remember the last time he had the U.S. belt? Every week, open challenge. Hey, I'm a champion that defends the belt. I don't like that was his whole thing against The Rock, right? Like you won the belt and then you
Great
left.
point.
Same with Brock Lesnar.
Great
Like
point.
y'all win the belt, you leave, you come when you want. No, I'm a fighting champion. I mean, they could
It's a
do
great
that.
point.
I just
It's a
think it
great
doesn't
point.
fit everything John Cena's been
Great point.
talking about his entire career. Um, I feel
It's
like
a great
Rhea
point.
Ripley's going to lose to Charlotte, which sucks. But Charlotte not losing to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, that's not going to happen.
Sheamus, do you think Sheamus defeats Gunther? Sheamus or Drew
Hell
McIntyre?
no, hell no. Gunther needs to be the champ forever.
Gunther is nice. I like him as an IC belt holder.
We
I
about to
like
see
him.
Brock Lesnar slip up and call almost the N word during the match. I feel like that's inevitable. That's going to feel like stone cold racism.
Yo, where you see where your brain goes? Why do you think
Dog,
this of Brock Lesnar?
let me tell you something. I don't know Brock Lesnar from anyone, but I guarantee you Brock Lesnar be saying racist stuff all the time. Ain't no way. I
I'm
bet
not
you
gonna
he don't
I'm
even
not gonna
probably know it's
guarantee that,
racist, but I feel
man.
like you don't think so, dog.
Nah, I
You
can't. I'm not rolling. I'm not rolling with Brock on that one.
you can't tell me Brock don't be walking around wherever he lived in the middle of Wisconsin talking like Tony Soprano season 2 when Meta was dating that black dude. You can't tell me that's not Brock Lesnar, dog. You can't
Yo,
tell me that.
people, I need if you're able to and old enough, I need you guys to go watch this episode of The Sopranos in season 2. What he's talking about, because it is honestly, if you want to
It's
talk
gold.
about it, it is. I was laughing at the pure unadulterated racism in this show
Dog.
on this particular
It
episode.
is. Like season 2 is hilarious.
They got some shit
Like
off.
he had a new slur for black people every episode. Like he was saying stuff I'd never heard before. And I live in the South.
He got some shit off. He definitely got some shit off in season 2. Shout out to Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. So
Rest in
we have some
peace.
other things to talk about, but I feel like We can talk about that next week. We talking about racism. So earlier this week, there was a
Oh
tweet
man, read the
about
tweet.
45. And for those of you who don't know who 45 is, it was before 46, who is here now. There was a tweet about some of 45's best moments. And I tweeted
Well,
you,
we
and I
gotta
was
we
like,
gotta set the tone with a little bit of reading of the tweet. So the tweet basically said,
yes,
people was basically was
I have it right
nah,
here. Keep it a
what the tweet
bean. 45's ignorance did make you laugh sometimes, question mark. And then it has just turned into a thread of 45's best moment. D, do you have a favorite moment from 45's presidency?
Oh man. Well, we have the time my man was shooting the paper towels into the crowd like they were free throws. I've never seen that before. First off, wasn't this for like a hurricane relief or something? And
Yeah,
he was
it was
shooting,
after a hurricane.
and
Those people had lost everything.
he was shooting paper towels into the crowd like they were free throws. So that's one. Um, y'all remember when he was doing the press conference? It was him and some girl. This is during COVID, and she said, "Yada yada yada. Yeah, I'm just getting over a cold like yesterday," and he
He
was
was
like,
like,
"Ugh,"
oh.
and he walked away. I'm trying not to laugh. Hold
It's
on.
funny. The one with the Pope in they're taking the picture, and he like rubs the Pope's hand with his pinky, and the
Yeah,
Pope
he
slaps
rubs
his
the
hand
Pope's
away.
he rubs the Pope's hands. Let's also not forget when he got off the plane after he was confirmed with COVID. He was standing at the top of that plane, sucking his gut in, red as shit, sick as hell, on
Yo,
knowing that shit whooping his ass. Oh man.
there was
Let's
the
let's
Clemson
not
football
forget.
team. He
He
fed
said what?
the
Oh,
McDonald's when he fed the Clemson football team McDonald's.
Oh yeah, can't forget that. He let Clemson in after winning the national championship and said, "Hey, you fine African American men, here's some McDonald's. This is something that you'll
Oh,
definitely want." Then walked into a McDonald's earlier this year and told the McDonald's folks that he knows the menu better than they do. He's been here so many times. Uh,
when
let's
he put
also not forget about the tweets he sent out to Iraq or something in regards to
yeah.
potential World War III. He basically said, "Yo, you don't want this fucking smoke with us." So I just
Oh,
want to. I'm trying not to laugh.
get home
Uh,
ASAP, ASAP.
yeah, he told ASAP, "Get home ASAP, ASAP." When he was diagnosed with COVID, he said the doctors had to look at him and it wasn't DNA, it was USA.
US.
I just want to let y'all know this is
Yo, hold on. Then there's the LaMelo Ball one. Not LaMelo. He got the LiAngelo out of jail in China and told LeVar, he was something like, yo, if their daddy wasn't, oh, dog, the LaMelo Ball, oh, oh, I'm sorry. What you saying? I'm butchering it. It's just so funny.
just want to let everyone know this man was a real president at a time. He kept calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas for some reason.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, uh, I remember when he was doing the debate with Hillary, and she had said something. He was like, "Yeah, because if I was around, you'd be in jail." And I was like, "Oh man, yo,
Yo,
we, oh man, go ahead."
I remember the during the Biden debates during COVID, they were like, "Yeah, you know, you're holding all these rallies," and he was like, "But they're outside." And then they're like, "Yeah, and Joe is holding smaller rallies," and he's like, "Because no one wants to go."
Yeah, I just want to let people know this was not a hallucination. This was real life. This was a real president. And 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, a lot of us are going to have to look at our children and our children's children, have to explain to them how we kind of helped this man get into office.
We no, I ain't explaining nothing to my children.
I
Look
mean, I
around.
didn't vote
Look.
for him, but at the same time, there was he represent like a a number of the population did, and so if you believe
Yes,
in
that's
one
true.
man, one sound, that's
I
who
don't,
are.
but
Well, a majority opinion, majority
that's true.
population did.
That's true.
So now, did he win like 50 to 50.1? Yeah,
Hey, he
but
said he still
he
won.
won.
Um.
He did
Okay.
pardon a lot of rappers. He did pardon a lot of rappers. Is Kodak Black is a fam. Didn't he pardon Wayne too?
He pardoned a lot of people. He
Yeah.
said, "I can't give you reparations, but I can get you out of jail." Um.
Um he called Ted Cruz the Zodo brother. I do remember that. Oh man. All right, Danny, we have a question.
We do have a question. So, for those of you who don't know, every week we ask you guys to send us your questions, speak on a pod14 at gmail.com. If we do get questions, we'll read them the next show and we'll do our best to answer them. They don't have to be sports related, but this week it is. This question is for 24 years now, Dan Snyder has owned the Washington Commanders, and he took one of the premier NFL franchises and made it into a slight laughing stock. I wouldn't even say slight, it is a laughing stock of the league. Yet the fan love is still very much there. In this age of selective outrage, how do sports teams continue to duck smoke until a Donald Sterling like incident happens? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you got it.
I'll say this. I don't think, how do I say this correctly? There have been people who've been calling out, Dan Snyder, the racist name, the stuff that happened with the cheerleaders on the island with the sexual harassment. It's just the thing about Donald Sterling is he got caught on camera being a racist, right? Like you can't shove that, you can't brush that under the rug when he's on Anderson Cooper saying, "What has Magic Johnson done? He's got AIDS," right? Like you,
Yo, Donald, what is going? Yo, racist whites get off some crazy bars.
racist white dudes named Donald, yo. Like they just that's just another
They
level
get
of
off some
racism.
crazy bars.
But I like if we had Dan Snyder on camera, I don't know, saying something racist, admitting that, hey, yeah, I'd let those guys in, kind of like a peep show, and they sexually harass those cheerleaders on that photo shoot. Then yeah, like you can't sweep it under the rug because you have the smoking gun. It's coming out of the horse's mouth, right? Like, and you can say the same thing about Mark Cuban, right? Because Mark Cuban and the Mavericks a couple of years ago, the Athletic did a report about the sexual harassment that was running rampant in his organization. He gets on ESPN, he apologizes, and Cuban has skated since then. There really hasn't, like, he hired a woman as the CEO of the Mavericks. She's doing great work. I'm assuming I haven't or anything, but like Donald Sterling's racism was so outrageous, you could not sweep it under the rug. Like he said some reckless things on that interview that you just couldn't. Like he was called on. Like she recorded him saying racist stuff. Anderson Cooper gave him the opportunity to come on and clarify it, and he was like, "No, I meant that. I'm gonna stand on what I said." And that's why we
Hey,
got Donald Sterling out
he
the
said
door.
if he gonna go out, he gonna go out swinging. Like he said, fuck it. Like I'm, man. So I think, I guess to one point that you said that I want to talk a little bit more about. It's at what point when there's no video evidence do we have to say that enough is enough? Like if there's no strong video evidence and like it's you know like I guess what I'm really trying to say is like we live in a world now where it's you're proven innocent. I mean you're proven you're guilty until you're proven innocent instead of
Mm-hmm.
you're innocent to proven guilty. So you know,
For me, the thing about Dan Snyder is there's too much smoke around his name for there not to be fire. Like he's been involved in too many things. Like too many things have happened on his watch. Now, like at some point, like we talking about stealing money from the NFL from other owners. We're talking about the sexual harassment case. We're talking about the name, however far you want to take that. But excuse me, he's been involved in too much to be like to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? If it was just one thing, it should be taken seriously. But in the eyes of the public, he would probably get a pass. Like, look at Jerry Jones, right? Jerry Jones hid a whole human being away from the public. She got a paternity test, proved that he was her dad. And again, like Jerry has skated because Jerry's been some other crazy things.
we're in America. That story is common,
That's too common.
especially in. Hmm, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. So, but my thing is, I feel like Dan Snyder, and this is not me caping for the Snyders or the Washington, whatever their previous name was / Commanders, but I feel like Dan Snyder can't be the worst of them. I feel like there's got to be some wild boys up there, especially that own, especially that are owners. And I feel like a lot of their stuff gets swept under the rug because
They'll be
they got to
caught.
protect it. You know, yeah, either that or either they haven't got caught or they're under the representation of the shield and the brand, and that's bigger than one person's image. So that's why I think so many owners are willing to stick together on some of these issues because they think they know what's best for the betterment of the shield, the brand, and the teams that they co-own. This also ties back to our Lamar Jackson take, and your point, and the owners may be colluding because they don't want to give another team a they don't want another player receiving a fully guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson and making players think that's norm, not on a lot of these players' books. And so, hey.
And so Bam asked a very interesting question. He said, if the Commanders were good, would he still be forced to sell? No. Winning solves
No.
everything. Like he's
Winning
driven that
always
franchise into the ground. Like the stadium sucks, the team sucks, the fan
And they also
support.
and through a lot of those terrible sucky years, they've also had like off years where they've made the playoffs and been decent.
Yeah. Like that franchise had the opportunity to change their fortunes with RG3, and Mike Shanahan was like, nah, sit him out there while his leg is on, about to fall off his body. Like if RG3 had panned out, I'm sure we're having a different conversation right now.
Yeah, because they would have had at least a 3 to 4 year run where they would have been really, really, really competitive.
I mean, probably more, right? Like RG3, was that the Wentz year? No, that was way before Wentz. That was the Andrew Luck year, right? So yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, we have a 3 to 4 year window of the Commanders being dominant, and then even after that being competitive, because the NFC East was down for a while. Like it was anyone's league. I mean, anyone's division. So I think if RG3 pans out, we're having a different conversation about Snyder right now.
Yeah, that's a great question, Bam. If the Commanders were good, he would not be forced to sell. People would have just dealt with it like they've been dealing with it, like that usually happens. And I feel like, I feel like there are other Dan Snyders out here. You guys, the world just doesn't know them.
Correct.
And not to say not to be their judger of characters, but I'm saying there's a lot of imperfect people who own football teams or own major league sports teams. So my real question to the people is, where's your outrage then? Or keep the same energy?
I'll say this. There's no such thing as a squeaky clean billionaire.
Tell them.
No such thing. The owner of your
Now,
favorite
Bam,
sports team.
I'm glad you brought that up, Bam, because Danny's right. There is no such thing as a squeaky clean billionaire at all. But this billionaire gave out $100 million to Josh Norman, I can somewhat understand. Albert Hainsworth was the one that made me really question what the fudge is going on in the nation's capital. Can you believe? What were your thoughts when you heard about that signing? I said, "There's just no way."
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool, good for the Eagles. Hey, you want to throw $100 million at Albert Hainsworth? Okay, that works for me. D.
What's the worst signing you've seen the Eagles make in your fandom?
The worst signing has to be. There are a couple. Nelson Aguilar helped to win the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz helped to win the Super Bowl. Oh, DeMarco Murray. There it is. The DeMarco Murray signing was the end of Chip Kelly. Like that was putrid.
Yeah, DeMarco Murray had a good year that year though.
No, he didn't. DeMarco Murray. He was Namdi. Yeah, bam. Namdi's up there with DeMarco. Maxwell, Byron Maxwell, when he came from Seattle.
Wait, tell me more about Namdi.
Namdi Asamoah. This was the dream team. Vince Young, Namdi, McNabb, and Vince Young in training camps. Like, oh, this is the dream team. Dog, Namdi was cheeks.
I do remember that now. Kyle says the Packers' worst signing is Jimmy Graham.
Ooh.
I remember that time.
Not Eddie Lacy.
I was getting ready to throw out Eddie Lacy out there because that was a funny time in Packers fandom. Because he had the one year where he was just going crazy, and literally the very next year was a completely different person.
Yep. D.
People.
I think that's it. Like, where can the people find you?
Well, people, first and foremost, unlike Eddie Lacy, I'm going to be staying away from the Chinese food.
Jesus.
At least today. But you can find me on. Bam said Eddie Lacy ate his way to my 600-pound life. Yo, it's honestly crazy, because literally after Eddie Lacy's rookie year, I was like, oh man, this guy's about to be something like Aaron Rodgers hasn't played with before. A true two-way back. Haven't seen this since like James Starks.
Tough times.
Tough times. People, make sure you follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube and Twitch at LosDemix. That's LOSDEEMIX. Make sure you follow the podcast at SpeakOnIt_pod. Make sure you send in more questions either in chat for us to answer or via email at speakonitpod14@gmail.com. Again, if you're not in the chat sending us questions for us to answer, send us questions at speakonitpod14@gmail.com. I do want to let people know it is the fantasy basketball playoffs. My team had a bye week last week. We're in action this week. It might be tough for me to reach. It might be a tough one for me to reach the championship round. But I'm gonna keep on having faith. I only got 2 moves left for this week. I've already used 2 yesterday. I got 2 more left for the week. We'll see. I had the best regular season record, scored the most points, but it's officially tank season in the NBA. Load management season. Illness is the new load management, by the way, for those NBA fans out there wondering.
You are correct. You can find me on the Bird app, Daniel Ocean 41. Reiterate what D said. Find us on IG and Twitter, speakonit_pod. Join us every Tuesday, 7:30-ish. We have jobs. We do our best, but hang in there with us. We enjoy having fun with you all. Thanks everyone who pulled up. Speakonitpod14@gmail.com. Send us your questions. D, I know we talked about signing off tonight to a Bow Wow song. I'm still open to that if you are, and if so, what?
Oh yeah, before we get out of here though, I've got some breaking news for the people.
Okay.
Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, Becky Hammond and Greg Popovich elected to the Basketball Hall of
Let's
Fame.
go. They better not let Dwayne go last, but they are, and it's going to be infuriating.
What do you mean?
Dirk needs to be the last person to speak that night, but it's going to be Dwayne because we have this thought that Dwayne is one of the greatest shooting guards ever, and he is not. We've talked about this at length. We're not doing it tonight. Congrats, Dirk. I will be there on my TV screen.
Come on, Bam. I heard that shit you were talking about Bow Wow. Come on now. Put a little respect on Bow Wow name. Yo, he was trying to act like Bow Wow ain't got the bops.
Bow Wow do got the bops.
Okay. Hey.
See y'all next week.